Hey, how's it going everybody? Today we're going to be taking a look at the Sony A7C and comparing it to the ever so famous A7 III. And if you want to know which one you should buy, personally, I think you should buy the A7 III, but if you want to know why, stick around. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to let you all know I'm doing a giveaway when I reach 100 subscribers, so if you want to enter that giveaway, all you have to do is subscribe to the channel and you'll be automatically entered for when it begins. Let's get into the video. So the A7 III came out back in 2018 and it took the world by storm by its amazing photo quality and video quality and the fact that it was Sony's entry-level full-frame camera. It was one of the cheapest full-frame cameras in their lineup and it was honestly one of the best cameras to come out in the last 5 years in my opinion. Even with it being a 2-year-old camera, it still holds up to 2020 standards with professionals still using it. And honestly, I don't think anybody needs to upgrade from it for the next 2 years because it honestly is just that good. So now coming over to the Sony A7C, this is Sony's new full-frame entry-level camera with the body size or body style of the Sony A6000 series, but with a full-frame sensor. The A7 represents the fact that it is a part of their full-frame lineup, and the C represents the fact that it's supposed to be compact. With the exception of the smaller size and a couple missing buttons, as well as a new added processor, the Sony A7C is basically just a Sony A7 III in a different body style. This is the spec sheet for the Sony A7 III, and this is the spec sheet for the Sony A7C. They're basically the same camera. So you might be saying the specs are the same, but the body's different, right? Well, yes and no. The body is definitely different in the way that it looks like the Sony a6600, but honestly, I think it's a downgrade and it's honestly not that compact from the Sony A7 III. And before you start going off at me in the comments talking about how some people want a different and smaller body size, I understand that, but the point I'm trying to make is that the Sony A7 III and the Sony A7C honestly aren't all that different, and the A7C isn't all that compact. Okay, so I'm going to be using some images from Manny Ortiz's video. You can check him out in the description down below. Amazing photography YouTuber. But as you can see, when lined up with the A6400 and the A7 III, the A7C is honestly the same thickness as the A7 III. Not only that, but if you look at the Sony A7C beside the A7 III, they're basically the same width as well. So it honestly just looks like Sony cut off the top viewfinder and put it onto the side of the A7C. This kind of brings me to another point as to why the A7 III is so much better than the A7C, and that's because of the viewfinder. The viewfinder is so much larger on the A7 III, and it's not in this weird awkward position. If you come from the A6000 lineup or any other kind of rangefinder style camera, it's not going to be in an awkward position for you, but for so many people they're used to a dead center viewfinder, and it's just going to be so off-putting, and the fact that it's so much smaller is just so weird. Going back to the body of this camera, I do want to mention some positive aspects of the A7C because I've been kind of ripping on it this entire video. The A7C now includes a flip-out screen just like the Sony A7S III, which is really awesome for solo content creators because you can flip it out to the side and see yourself and frame up the shot. It's also really good marketing for vloggers, and it's just an awesome feature to have in any sort of camera. This is something that is missing in the A7 III, and honestly so many people complain about. Personally, I love the flip-out screen. I don't mind the non-flippy screen, but the flip-out screen is so much more helpful when you are recording videos by yourself, just like I am now. The A7C also has really robust side doors for all of its ports, which is really nice because they're not going to break as easy, as well as it has a large record button on top. But other than that, that's honestly the only positive sides I can find to the A7C. The A7 III has more custom buttons. It also has a joystick and dual SD card slots, whereas the A7C only has one SD card slot and none of the other things that I just mentioned, and that's all for only $200 extra. And honestly, that's one huge thing that so many people aren't talking about is the price. The Sony A7C brand new, body only, costs $1,800, and the A7 III brand new costs $2,000, only a $200 price difference. But the thing people forget is that the Sony A7 III is a 2-year-old camera, so you can find these on the used market for even cheaper than a brand new Sony A7C. This way you get the same full-frame sensor, more custom buttons, the joystick, all the other features. The only thing that you're missing out on is it's not as fast of autofocus, but Sony already has incredible autofocus, we all know that, even in their older generation cameras, and it's only going to lag behind just a little bit. One thing I do want to mention is that those were the USD prices. The Canadian prices is $2,400 for the Sony A7C, and the Sony A7 III I'm sure it's just $200 more than that, so probably 2,600 Canadian, something like that. So why did Sony even bother putting out the A7C if this is all true, and why did they put it out in 2020? Well, there are probably two main reasons why they did this, and the first one is because of online content creators. They understand that creators want the best quality they can possibly get, and a lot of the time, most creators want in the smallest package possible, and so this helps cut down on a little bit of size and a little bit of weight, and it also adds that flip out screen, which is perfect for vloggers and anybody who films themselves. The only other reason I can think of is that the Sony A7 III is about to get an upgrade, and they're going to upgrade it to the A7 IV, and this way they can have something that's a entry-level full frame, and when they put out the A7 IV, they're going to be able to jack up the price way more because it has newer and better features. I could be wrong on the second one though, because Sony does sometimes take a long time to put out new cameras, like we saw with the A7S II and how they finally upgraded it to the A7S III, but at the same time, we also do see Sony putting out a new camera basically every year. Before I conclude this video, I do want to say, as much as I have ripped on the Sony A7C for basically being the same camera as the A7 III, I do want to say it is an incredible camera, and there's no doubt about that. It has incredible video features as well as photo features in a smaller package, and it honestly does so much stuff that any other camera at the same price point isn't going to allow you to do, and honestly is a huge competitor for anybody looking at the Sony a6600. Honestly, this will probably kill off the Sony a6600 unless you own a ton of APS-C lenses. That topic is honestly so huge that I could probably make an entire video about it, but I'm not going to get into it in this video because I want to shorten this up for you guys so you get as much value as possible. So in conclusion, the only reason I think you should buy a Sony A7C is if you're just stepping into the full frame lineup and you have had a Sony a6000 style series in the past and you actually enjoy that body size or that body style, then I would say jump to this if you want it, as well as if you're just upgrading into the full frame scene. This is honestly an incredible deal, and if you like that smaller or different body style, then I would highly suggest it. I would also suggest it because it has incredible autofocus during video, as well as all the picture profiles you're going to get on any other full frame Sony camera, and it has that flip out screen, which is so awesome for filming yourself. Other than that, if you're on a tight budget, I would totally suggest just not going with the A7C and buying an A7 III used, because it's going to give you 99% of the features, 99% of the features of the Sony A7C in a cheaper body. Like I said, if you go with either one of these cameras, they're honestly both incredible and they will get you where you need to go. It's just those tiny little differences that kind of are deal breakers for some people and is gonna make you decide which one you want to buy. That was a lot of hand gestures. I'm kind of a gestury person. So those are my opinions on the Sony A7 III versus the Sony A7 III. The Sony A7 III versus the Sony A7C. They're too closely named, you just can't get away from it. Anyways, if you think I missed anything, let me know in the comment section down below. If you disagree with me, if you agree with me, also let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know what other kind of videos you want to see. Make sure to give this video a like, as it helps me grow the channel and it helps push this video to other people who are looking for it, which is really nice. And like I said, I'm doing a giveaway at 100 subscribers, or if you just like my content in general, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. As always, peace guys. See ya.